Cool. So yeah, I'm back. It's been a couple days. It's been a little bit. Yeah, sorry about that. Or actually, I don't know. Maybe I'm not sorry about that, and that's okay. Maybe it's okay not to be sorry about it. That's the whole point of this, right? Just to kind of do something that's simple. I don't have to think about it or worry about it. So anyway, I'm not sorry that it's been a while, but I'm back, and I don't know. I just kind of. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't think I have to do this every day anymore. I just kind of feel like I'm falling into a nice rhythm. I'll just kind of hop on when I kind of think of something to talk about, and that's fine. I don't really have to do much else. But what is love? Baby, don't hurt me, is the general idea. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt you, people around. I guess that's kind of what love is. But, the reason why I'm asking this is because I was watching some of these things as I kind of like these, I don't know if you know what NDEs are, but an NDE is basically just, a near-death experience or an actual death experience, somebody actually dying and then coming back to life. They say they've seen heaven or hell or whatever it is. I like watching those videos. I just like them. I like hope. I love hope. I love love and I love hope and I love rainbows and unicorns and sparkly candy and cotton candy. I love all that stuff, but that's just me, whatever. But I like to watch those videos just because I like to see, and sometimes there's consistencies in them that kind of make me feel like, yeah, maybe there's something a little bit to this, who knows? Maybe they're being informed by each other or something like that, I don't know. I'm probably going to stay in this room because this is better lighting, so maybe less walking today, who knows? But anyway, yeah, dude, so, and the reason why I was thinking about love, because of the NDEs, is because the whole point, and what a lot of people come back saying is you gotta learn to love, and I think this might be a little bit bright. Let's bring this down a little bit, huh? Down to 0. There we go, nice 0. So, the whole idea, it's kind of dark. The whole idea is you have to love people. And loving people is a difficult thing to do because it's not just a feeling. It's not something you have to someone. It's not just oh, yeah, freaking Becky, I love Becky. It's not like that. It's you have to have an actual active decision to love someone. You have to actually decide, this is what I want to do. I'm going to sacrifice myself for something, or sacrifice parts of myself, or my time, or my money, or something of me that I actually care about for the good of someone else. That's pretty much what, that's the only way you can actually prove love, which is why the whole, Jesus loving the world is the best proof of love. The ultimate love, right? For God so loved the world. And there's the, that he gave his only begotten son. So, I was thinking about that because they're all you gotta love people. You have to learn how to love. That's the only thing that God actually cares about. That's the main thing that keeps you out is love, or the main thing that will be the main burden on earth is love. There's not enough love on earth. And I remember even the first time I had my own crazy encounter. For those who are watching and listening who are not Christian, my first baptism in the Holy Spirit or in fire or whatever you want to call it. Basically, the first time I had my real my first I guess you could say intense God experience. It was really heavily based in and steeped in love. And I just remember being and it was just I was at a normal, a church service, and I was just praying, and then all of a sudden I just I had a sincere desire to hey, how do I get closer to you, God? I'm praying to you, but I kind of want to feel you. I kind of want let's make this real, And it just it happened upon me. It just kind of happened. And I remember thinking, all of a sudden, there's too much love in me right now. There's too much love that I have just pent up in my heart, in my soul right now, and there's nowhere to go with it. I don't have a medium or some kind of way to pass this to anyone. There's nowhere to send it. The whole world needs it, and there's not enough love in the world, and I need to get it to somebody somehow, and I'm just frustrated with that idea, so I'm just I'm just bawling waterfalls, because it's I'm so frustrated that I can't love the entire world at the same time with this one body. I can't share it with the world, this love that I have. And it was this weird thing. What came to mind is, I think there's a place in the Bible where it's saying how the house of sorrow is better than the house of laughter, and it's something to do with there's a beautiful sorrow. And in my other experiences, I've kind of had those kind of things. It's not a pure, just sad, depressing, morose, kind of thing. It's there's a beauty in the sorrow. There's a beauty in, hey, I have a longing, and that's a beautiful thing. Kind of like mono no aware, in Japanese, there's a kind of a concept of the fickleness of, something where, as an American, you kind of think no, that sucks. It's going to be gone in a few seconds. Why is that good? That sounds terrible. But no, it's a beautiful thing. And so, this whole love thing, it's love and perfection and, being like God and being like Jesus, all these things. How do you even exemplify that? How do you live like this? Those are the kind of questions I've been having. Well, as I watch the video, I'm just okay, well, yeah, love is a subjective thing. It's an objective direction, compass-wise, right? Cardinally, it's an objective direction. But but subjectively, like how it's acted out and how you execute it, right? Depends on the person, depends on the situation, right? So like punching somebody in the face could be love for one person or one situation, but absolutely not love for most people. I think I'd like to argue that probably. So it's like, how do you figure that out? And I feel like, and that's, I mean, you hear me talk about love all the time, and it's like, that's like one of the words, it's like the most common thing, the most common theme for me is love that I keep talking about on these videos. And it's true, it's because it's like, everything I do, I try to base it in love. I try to base everything I do in love. I'm trying to get some Mr. Whiskers in there. But, I try to base everything I do in love. And it's true, like whenever a lot of the decisions that I make have to do with love. How do I, even though I'm tired, even though I don't have much to give, even though I don't have any money, or I don't have the resources, or whatever it is, and I just kind of say, but this person is lonely, this person needs something, or this person, I have something that this person I can give this person. It's not a monetary thing, and it might just be chronological, or whatever, I don't know, just something of my heart that I can give, something that I can transfer, and I try to act on that, which is why I've met so many different people in the past few months and weeks, and why I invite people to, like, you know, just hang out or just talk one-on-one, because, you know, like, the whole group things are fun. Groups are fun, but group stuff just kind of feels like I don't know. I'm not saying it's not love, but for me, that's not how I show love. Like, to invite like 40 people to a place and, hey, we're all gonna do this thing, and we're gonna do this thing that I curated. It's not a bad thing. I think it's a great thing, and it's a beautiful skill to be able to do that. I honestly think it, and I respect it. And I'm not saying it's not love, but it's just not the way I love. I receive and feel love and give love by having one-on-one, or, you know, one-on-one. You know, 2, 3 people, max 4 people is where I really feel loved, or I feel like I can share love. Which is why even when it gets bigger than that, I naturally just start partitioning off the group. People have probably experienced this when we're having like group prayer or a group meeting or group just sharing or whatever, or just a big group hanging out. I'll just steal someone, like, hey, isn't this a very interesting thing? Just cut the conversation in half. And I know it's kind of rude, but sometimes the other person I can tell is looking for an out too, and I kind of look for people who are looking for an out. I might be more wrong than I think I am in that, whatever, but that's just what I end up doing. And so, like, this whole love thing, it's like, well, how do I do that? How do I share? And I'm constantly looking for more ways to love. And you know what the most important love is to, and this is, again, it's going to get into the Christianese, it's going to get into the Christian, you know, whatever, just bear with me. How do I love God more? How do I bless God more? Because we ask God to bless us. We are constantly saying, hey, God, do this for me, bless me, give me more of this, I need more of this or that or whatever it is. And I kind of feel like, Mr. Whiskers again, and I kind of feel like it's more important to bless God and to please God and to love God than it is for you to love other people. But the way to love God, one of the ways of loving God is loving other people. He says so. God says so. The only way, well, not the only way, but one of the ways, you can't not. It is imperative and it is necessary for you to love other people in order to love God. It's one of the elements. It's not the only way. It's not the prime way, but it's one of the, you cannot not do it. So, the other ways of loving God are worshiping Him, praising Him, talking to Him, knowing Him, and just kind of having a specific relationship with Him. And it kind of starts to get a little bit fuzzy after that for me. I mean, there's probably a better way to define all this, but anyway, yeah, so like loving other people, how do I do that all the time? How do I continuously love God? How do I keep blessing Him? How do I keep, how do I make more people do it? How do I show other people how to love too? Because it's not just about loving people, right? The whole Christian thing is, and God says, go make disciples of men, right? What does that mean? To make everyone your student? No, it means to go and make other people love other people. And the only way to do that, the main way of doing that is to love God, actually. You're supposed to go out into the world and help people know that God is loving them and help them return that love to God. In order to do that, they have to love other people. Right? So we have to actually not just love people, but teach other people to love. And that's actually kind of a hard thing to do. It's one thing to, give a man a fish, but teaching a man a fish is not, I don't hate it. I love teaching. I really do. Teaching a man to fish is not going to be a big deal for me, but it's difficult because everybody has their own, places where they don't understand. Like when somebody's in a particular place, and this is, I think, the key for being a successful teacher is, can you manipulate someone manipulate someone around their obstacle to their goal, right? Like, I mean, teaching is manipulation. Let's just be real. That's what it is. It's good manipulation. It's positive manips. And so I mean, like, how can you show someone? How can you? And you have to know where they are, right? Because there's you don't know what obstacles in front of them if you're not very good, if you're not very empathetic, if you're not very good at and patient and looking to see where people are, if you're not very astute and observational, you're not gonna be able to say, hey, this person can't get to the top of this hill because there's a cliff there and they need to walk around the long way because they actually fell down this cliff for whatever reason, or they were pushed. Maybe there was a trauma. Maybe there was something that led them down this way. How do you help them get there? And all you empathats, all you empathetic people are aware of how to do this. You already know this. This is something you know intrinsically and intuitively without actually thinking about it. You notice I keep trying to put him in because I don't want to just keep getting all these cherry blossoms. I just want to get the tiger. Tiger's badass. It's cool. But so yeah, like, I mean, knowing how to get people around their obstacles and teaching people how to go around to get to where they're supposed to. And this is something, honestly, I grew up as love my parents. I love them both. Oh, seriously. And this is not going to be slight against them at all. But growing up in a Haitian household and knowing Haitians all growing up, it felt a lot like there was not none of it, but like a little bit of a deficit of it. You know, like a lack of it. Some maybe, well, deficit means there's less and less than zero, I guess. But there's it seems like there was a little bit. It needs a little bit of an insufficiency. Deficiency is the word I was looking for. But like, and it's like my parents that loved me and all my aunts and uncles, they all did their best to pour into me. Of course, everyone. And I commend everyone. I love everyone. I still have all the utmost respect. And I still learn so much from everyone. My parents, my uncles, my aunts, everybody. Cousins, my sister, everybody. But, and someone who, like, really championed it, and I didn't know how she was doing it for a while, but it was my sister. Somebody, like, especially when I got into my, I guess my adult years, she started to become very empathetic. She started to understand that I have something different about me that's not with her or with all her friends or people who think like her. So she kind of started to have this patience that I noticed come around. And so, like, I learned from that and from other people. And I also had some sort of an intuitive sense of, like, hey, this person can't solve this puzzle because they're not standing in the same spot I am. Like, they can't get to peace. They can't get to harmony. They can't get to talking in front of people. They can't get to figuring out this particular guitar chord, figuring out how to move their fingers because it could be a physical thing, it could be a mental thing, it could be a spiritual thing, it could be all kinds of stuff. And so learning how to do that, that's something that I've picked up and I kind of enjoyed picking up, and I'm still learning how to find out more opportunities to do it. And coming out of this funk and coming out of this, like, depression, and I'm gonna be entirely honest, I'm not entirely out of it, but having this, not mask, but the uniform that I put on is really helping me to just kind of at least be more active. I'm sad faster. I'm sad more excitedly. That's kind of what it is. And I'm still kind of, I'm shedding the sad as I go, and I can feel it. And that's a good thing. And I know I'm very excitable, but I'm very excitable when I can talk to myself. This is effectively what it is. I'm also very happy and excitable all the time when I'm just, I have my moments, even when I'm depressed, I had my moments where I would shine or whatever. But yeah, so, like, I'm still coming out of it and learning how to, reach out to other people. And that has been a big help, if I'm entirely honest. Learning how to get to other people, learning how to think less about my depression. And I know some people, this is not where you are. If you are depressed or you're going through something like right now, and sometimes the answer isn't always pouring more into other people. I think it is for most people, but I think some people they've poured too much into other people, and maybe it is the answer for everybody else. And maybe the problem that got someone into a position where they've poured out too much is when they're actually not doing it in love. They're doing it from duty. They're doing it from obligation, and that's not love. And that's, wow, circling all the way back. This is why love has to be something that God does in the way that He's done. God has given us an opportunity to come to Him. He has not forced us. He has not gone and smushed our face into the truth. He's left clues and He's left things here and there, and He's loved us and given us opportunities. But if there's an obligation, and let me explain what this obligation kind of entails in this particular case. If I held a gun to your head and said, hey, you're my best friend, right? You'd be like, yeah, I'm your best friend. You're not really my best friend. You're just saying you're my best friend to get out of jail card for free. I didn't put those words together in the right order. But you know what I'm trying to say? It's not a real, sincere sense of love. So this is why God is, a lot of people, I think they have this like, oh, why doesn't God just, like, poof, appear and do this and do that and say this and force me to love Him and force me to, why didn't He just create me to, because then He couldn't have love. Then that wouldn't be love. That would be a robot. The angels already serve Him out of duty, right? So, like, He created us, had to have actual relationship, to have actual love. And He doesn't need it. He just wants it, or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not going to claim to know every corner of the mind of God. I really am not going to. Whether the whys or the odds or whatever, I'm really not gonna get in this video for that part. But the point is, that's what love is. The point is, God is love, and love is not someone who forces, not something that is forced on someone. It has to come from the heart. It has to be a decision. It has to be desire. It has to be natural, right? So this whole love thing, this obligation, if you felt obligated to do something for someone for a long period of time, over and over, looping and looping, constantly giving of yourself, you're running on empty, you're running on fumes, you got nothing left, and you're sputtering, and then everyone's still asking more, and you just and that you end up ruining your life. And I've done that. I've definitely done that. And it's not because it's everyone else's fault. That's a big thing. It's not everyone else's fault, right? If they didn't understand where you're coming from, then you have to chalk it up to, hey, they didn't understand. How could they fix it if they didn't know that there's a problem in the first place? So you can't be like, well, everybody's asking everything of me. You didn't have your own boundaries. And I'm talking to myself here a little bit too. You didn't have your own boundaries. You didn't actually effect some kind of way to protect yourself. You didn't put a wall up around your city, bro. You just had your bike lock. You put your bike up in middle of San Francisco, middle of Tokyo without a bike lock. That's what you did. And so now you're mad that everyone else stole it. And sometimes people, maybe the guy's like, hey, maybe it's a free bike. Not everybody's that smart, bro. And you just have to be empathetic to understand that. Not everybody's gonna have the same sense as you do. So if you're tired and burnt out, and I've said this before, I think I said it in some other video, I don't know why I'm pointing back here, all my videos in the past, those videos over there. I said it somewhere over there, and that it's not all everyone else's fault. You have to own up for it. You let people in. You let people tear you down. You let people do these things to you. It is your fault, unfortunately. And it's like, okay, yeah, you're gonna have to take your time to do the healing. I'm not really coaching someone properly through this right now. If you're going through this right now and I'm kind of slapping a little hard, whatever it is, I'm sorry. I didn't intend for this to be a therapy session anyway. I just kind of riffing. And so, but like, you gotta be the person that's able to set up a boundary and set up some kind of rules and regulations. So that you don't do all these things just purely out of obligation. There are very few things that you should do out of obligation, that you should force yourself to do out of obligation. Like if you have children, you are obligated to feed them. That you have to. Sorry, that's not a choice. If you have a wife, you are obligated to fulfill your duty as a husband. You gotta get down and busy, if you know what I mean. Same if you're a wife. Same thing. It's biblical, literally biblical. If you're like, your body is not your own, your wife's body is not hers. Okay, that's just the rule. So, and I think it's actually kind of a beautiful thing. You gotta learn how to, serve each other. But anyway, the whole point is, those are of the few things that you are really obligated to do, right? So if you're doing everything out of obligation, you're not actually loving anyone. You're not loving anyone. You're actually just being a butler. You're being a doormat. You need to love. You need to do it out of the actual desire and love out of your heart, not just, I better. If I don't, my ratings are gonna go down. No, just do it because you love the person. And I'm still working on that. It's very difficult to figure that out. It's kind of like having the perfect tennis serve or violin stroke with the bow. All these things in order to do and the reason why I said a tennis serve, not just a tennis swing. A swing is difficult too, but a serve is the ultimate power. But you have to have perfect aim. These people are so precise. You have to have perfect aim. And you have to have such a delicate and precise touch and a spin and a certain spin speed that you just feel and and your wrist is just memorizes how to do it. And then you could throw power into it once you've got all that form down. And that's kind of what loving people is. Almost everything is like that, right? Everything has some kind of like a golf swing, using the driver. It takes so much power. But all that power misdirected just gets you hooks and slices. You're gonna be in the woods. You're gonna be in the woods, Frank. This is the kind of things you gotta avoid. You have to learn how to. And the violin, I didn't get that. That's my favorite one. I didn't even talk about it. You gotta. If you just try to throw all that power into the bow, you're just gonna get a. It's gonna sound like you're killing a frog. It's gonna sound like you're killing toads and frogs. It's gonna sound like it's down horrible. But if you learn how to use the right touch, and it doesn't mean you don't put power in. It means that you learn how to control the speed and the weight and the power, the weight of the bow. What part of the bow are you using? So how much weight do you throw in? How much of your pinky? How much of your index finger do you use? This is all part of the art of loving. So get out there and love.